Welcome back to Little Shop of Nerds. Here's your two co-hosts. Mike, what's up?
I'm Julia.
Alright, today's hint is
Pride.
meaning that when this video is coming out, this is the middle of Pride Month, so we're going to do a girl love anime called
Bloomin' to You.
And let's get started.
So, I will talk about this, but I'm very disappointed with the ending of this anime. And I really do hope that we do get a second season eventually, because the series is over. Like, the last volumes and everything have been released. Everything's out in the open. And apparently the anime only covers the first 5 volumes of the manga, and there's 8 volumes. So we need closure because of the way that it ended. I was not happy. But anyway, so it centers on a girl named Yu who is starting her first year of high school. She was confessed to by a friend of hers, a middle school friend of hers, and she just doesn't feel anything, so she does turn him down. But she also, like, okay, well, when it starts, she's just kind of like, doesn't know how to feel about it, because she's like, I don't feel anything, and shouldn't I feel something? And she gets volunteered to help out the student council, and she meets this girl named Toko, and she sees her being confessed to, and Toko turns him down because she doesn't want to date anybody at the time.
Bullshit.
And then her and you develop a relation, like a friendship, and then Toko develops feelings for you.
And that's the reason why she's not didn't go out with the one who was confessed, because turns out she's into women.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say she's into women because...
Girl, whatever.
Well, I mean, no, not even that. It just seems like she just didn't feel those fireworks or whatever.
Well...
But she felt them with you. Doesn't necessarily mean she's into women. She could be bi.
Well, okay, if she loves you, even she could be bi or not, she likes you.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. With Toko... With Toko, she, throughout the whole series, you just don't know what you know her feelings. She's trying to how can you pronounce that damn word? Reciprocate, thank you. But you feels like she's kind of wishy-washy.
Yeah, you seems very asexual to me.
I think she's asexual.
Like, she doesn't seem to want to really... Like, she doesn't know what her feelings towards Toko are. Because, like, throughout the entire series... Because there's 13 episodes. Throughout the entire 13 episodes, well, most of them anyways, you see Toko just trying to kiss you, touch you. But then she also tells you, don't change who you are. Do not fall in love with me. And in one episode, she tells you not to fall in love with her because she doesn't want you to love what she hates. So basically, it's Toko hates herself and doesn't want you to love her because she hates herself.
Yeah, but it's not, like, kind of toxic, though.
A little bit, but it's not as toxic as Citrus.
Oh, yeah, those two were really toxic.
Yeah.
I don't care what they say. They should never been together.
That was, yeah. So, anyway, so this all kind of started with, like, Toko was part of the student council. She, you was helping out, and then Toko asked you, to the distress of her best friend Sayaka, that she needed to, or that she wanted you to be her campaign manager because she was running for student council president. So Yu does give her speech, and helps out. And she basically, not really confesses her love to Toko, but it was just kind of like, I know who you really are, and it wouldn't really be that bad if you're just yourself. And Toko's pretty much just like, well, yeah. So she does end up becoming student council president, Toko does. And they're doing all this stuff. Like, they got the sports festival coming up, and then they have the cultural festival coming up. Yeah. And one of the things that Toko wanted to do was she wanted to bring back the student council stage show. That the last time it was, I don't think it was performed, but the last time that anybody tried to do anything with it was 7 years before the start of the series. Which it turns out that Toko's older sister, Mio, was student council president 7 years ago. And she was going to do the stage show, but she had died in a car accident. And the school just never did it again until Toko came along. Yep. Yu was completely against it.
Because she doesn't want to be in it, because she doesn't like to speak in front of people.
Yeah. And so she does eventually agree to do the show. I think it was after she found out what really happened with Toko's sister. And so she asked her friend Kiyomi to write the screenplay, and she does, and
she's having problems because Toko's character is so perfect. How can you write something who's perfect?
Yeah. And she kept asking for like any of Toko's flaws, and he was just like, I don't really think there's anything, I don't think she has any flaws. She was basically parroting the same thing that everybody else parroted, because Toko was trying so hard to be like her sister.
And
try to be perfect and everything.
Yeah, and she was pretty much putting on the perfect act, and you'll find out later on the episode more about her sister when they're trying to rehearse for the play.
Yeah. So they do this thing called a study camp, and that's when they're like rehearsing and stuff. And they had this old classmate of Toko's come in to help them rehearse and stuff like that. And it turns out that he was on the student council the same time that Toko's sister was. And they just kind of she asked him what kind of person her sister was, and he basically said, well, she's not as perfect as you thought she was. She had us do her homework. She pushed all
the work onto them, pretty much.
All of their duties, everything was onto them. And he's like, but none of us really minded because we liked her. And she's like, that can't be true, because that's not the sister that I know. Because in her eyes, the sister that she knows was a perfect person, and that's who she was trying to emulate. So it turns out that the stage show, which is kind of important, and I'm really disappointed that they didn't really
show it.
Yeah, because it's about a girl that has amnesia, and she doesn't know who she is or where she's from or anything like that. And the nurse tells her, well, hey, why don't you ask your visitors about it, about yourself? And so they had Maki, which was a first-year boy, which he actually caught Yu and Toko kissing. We'll come back to that, actually.
Yeah.
So, Maki was supposed to be her brother. There was another one named Doma, another first year named Doma. He was her classmate. And then Sayaka, which is her best friend, was supposed to be her lover. So, a lot of people were like, oh, a lesbian lover, and they're like, they just felt like, Kiyomi said that she felt like the person closest to Toko should have been Sayaka.
Well,
Because Sayaka and her are best friends, but it also turns out that Sayaka's in love with Toko as well.
but
And she thinks that she's the one that's closest to Toko.
but
Sayaka.
Sayaka also had a bad backstory because turns out a girl that she thought she was love at her old school. Turns out, it was just an experiment and
Just a phase, basically.
But not to her. And this is a warning to out to people. If you think that you do that to a person, you think it's a phase, don't do that crap. Because to that person, it was not a fucking phase.
Yeah, because Sayaka, she even said in her backstory, like, it felt weird, or like in her mind, she was like, girls shouldn't date each other. And even Yu's father, like at the very beginning, even he had a little bit of homophobia, because he was like, well, they were because I guess all that Yu was talking about was Toko, and her sister, said, is she your girlfriend? And Yu's like, of course not. And her father's like, oh, thank God. So anyways, so there is a part where Toko and Yu kiss in the student council room.
Yep.
And Maki finds them. And Maki brings it up to her, and then she's like, oh no, please don't tell anybody. I'm worried about Toko's reputation. And then he was like, well, I won't tell anybody, but are you sure that you're not in love with her? Because you're worried about her. And she was like, so she's having like an identity crisis now, Yu is. Because she knows that Toko is in love with her, but she can't reciprocate that love. And it's just it's just a big mess. There is a scene in the during the sports festival where Toko corners her in this gym storage room, and they kiss. Mm-hmm. And Yu tells her, can't you behave until after the festival? And Toko's like, okay, well, if I do behave, then you owe me a reward, and I want you to kiss me. So then they go into the room, or they're after the sports festival, she behaves and everything like that. They go into, the gym, or not the gym, the gym storage room or whatever. And they're in there together, and they have this moment. They do kiss, but Yu is unable to do it. And, like, Toko is, like, sitting on the floor, and Yu is kind of, like, straddling her hips. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, damn.
Yep.
And so they do share, like, a kiss. And then there's another scene. I can't remember. I think it was after the study camp. Toko goes back to Yu's house, and they have a moment in Yu's bed. They don't do anything, but they definitely have an intimate scene.
Intimate.
And that's when she tells her, don't fall in love with me because since I don't love myself, I don't want you to love something I don't. So, the series basically ends, like, I was really enjoying it. I'm just frustrated that there wasn't really any conclusion to it. Which we need more episodes to finish it off. I will definitely be reading the manga so I can get the full story. I did look it up though. And apparently, after the student council stage show, she does confess her love to, Yu does confess her love to Toko. Toko was silent, and you took that as rejection, and then there was a second year class or class trip that the second years do, and Sayaka confesses her love to Toko, and Toko rejects her because Toko is in love with you. So I guess from what I've read is that you and Toko do end up together. They do have... It was something I read. Let me see if I've got it. Do you got anything to add while I try to pull up?
It has a good storyline. I'm not going to lie. It has a good storyline. The characters aren't that bad, but it is really, really slow.
I mean, that's your opinion. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was the perfect pace.
Okay, think about this. Think. Animes are what? 24 minutes, 25, depends on the anime, right? Okay. But here's the thing. When I was watching a 24-minute episode, it felt like it was really slow. It felt like I was watching an hour movie.
But you gotta understand, though.
Yeah, I get it. They're trying to get everything in once.
It's not even that. It's girl love isn't as crazy or fast paced as some of the boy love stuff out there.
Yeah, but here's the thing. With the boy love stuff, they're trying to go fast for some reason, which I don't understand. Why go fast? But even with Citrus, it ran at a medium pace.
That's because May was just all wanting to get up into Yuzu's panties.
Yep, but that's what I'm trying to say. It was run at a medium pace. With Blooming, but with this was run at a slow pace.
No, this fits it. The pace that Blooming to you was perfect because you wasn't sure of her feelings for Toko.
Okay.
What did you want her to do? Lie to Toko and say, "Oh yeah, let's fuck"? Huh?
No.
Is that what you wanted her to say?
Fuck no.
Okay, then what's the problem?
It was just slow and boring.
It wasn't that slow. The pace was just perfect.
Okay, I said I love the story. What's wrong with the pace?
The pace was fine because you don't want you to rush into something that she wasn't comfortable with.
I agree you should rush, but you shouldn't be slow either.
It wasn't really that slow. You just think that it was that slow, but it really wasn't that slow.
You told me a couple days it was slow, and now you're changing the subject.
Because I've watched more of it. I finished the series, and the pacing actually fits it just fine.
But here's
the way that I'm just upset that they did not finish the series.
Okay, let's just... Either way, if it was a boy love, girl love, or just a regular straight love, if you're going too slow, it's going to be boring. If you're going to go too fast, you're not getting shit. If it goes at a medium pace, you're getting everything all at once.
I don't know about that. Because I thought the pacing for Bloomin' to You, after having finished watching the series, it fits. Because you don't want you to rush into something that she's not comfortable with or unsure of. Toko just kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it.
I'm not talking about the relationship.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm talking about the pace of the story.
See, if you had let Toko push it, though, then it would have went faster.
Yeah, that would be
But
fast.
you can't let her do that.
Okay, tell me this. If they did the same thing but ran at a medium pace, would it still work?
If what now?
I'm not talking about the relationship. I'm just talking about the storyline in general. It felt slow. I don't like stuff that rushes, and I don't like that goes real slow. It's like reading a Stephen King novel that's really slow.
Okay, well, first off, Mike, this was only the first five chapters, or first 5 volumes of the manga. Okay? They had to get everything that was in there into that.
And I get that. You need everything in there. But you can't do it real slow either. Because you're going to start...
Well, have you ever thought that that's maybe how the manga was running? Maybe the manga had a slow pace to it.
But that's the difference between...
It fits.
But it's from 2 different mediums.
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm just saying, if you're going to want an enjoyable slow thing, yeah. That'd be fine for the book. But when you're doing something for a medium, people don't want to sit there for. You think people? What about Oppenheimer? That movie was 3 hours long.
Okay. Let me put this into perspective here. JJK season 2 Shibuya Incident.
Right.
Had 50 something chapters. Okay. They knocked it down to 23.
Yeah, because you're not going to get everything.
It was fast paced, now wasn't it?
Yes, because that's an action anime.
Okay, but what about, you've seen F A Tale of Memories, Melodies, right?
And that's fine.
You didn't think that was slow?
No.
Because I sure did.
Well, maybe because you thought it was slow, because it was.
But you know what? But it was one of my favorite it's one of my favorite animes.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite too. I didn't think it was slow. I thought the pacing was fine. I just think in this one it was a little slow.
I don't think it was that slow.
But why?
I'm just telling you that I don't think it was slow. You think it's slow. I don't think it's slow.
Well, guys,
Yuri Girl Love is like one of my favorite genres.
And like I said, I've seen some girl love once. Some were not too fast. Some weren't that slow.
Maybe you need to read more Girl Love.
Maybe
watch more Girl Love.
Either way, in the comments, put if it was fast or slow. It was fine or slow.
Mike sucks, by the way.
Julia sucks.
I'm better than you.
Fuck you.
Anyways, so Mike's over here dropping shit.
Shit.
So, so after Sayaka did accept Toko's rejection, and apparently the two reconcile, you and Toko do, and you finally reciprocates Toko's feelings. So then it says here, over time, you and Toko become more emotionally and physically intimate with each other. This culminates when they go bowling together, with the agreement that whoever wins gets to make a request of the other. Yu wins and asks to sleep over at Toko's house. Toko agrees, confessing she had wanted to arrange that as well. They spend the evening at Toko's parents' condo where they have sex. So they do eventually get intimate with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then it continues. It says 3 years later, Yu and Toko have graduated high school, enrolled in college, and are now wearing rings on their fingers. They reunite with the former student council members to attend the cultural festival at their old high school. As Yu and Toko reminisce about how their relationship started and reflect on their new lives as adults, they walk off into the night. So, that's how it ends. That's how the series ends. I do need to watch it, or read it, I mean. There is a teacher, one of the student council advisory teachers, who turned out to, I think she was bi, and there was this cafe that they always went to called Echo, where the woman who ran it was lesbian, and Sayaka had gone to her for advice on what to do and stuff like that. And then it turns out that their teacher was a lesbian, but they didn't realize it. Well, she was bi. Because in one of the episodes, the owner of the coffee shop was like, hey, you said that it didn't matter to you if you dated men or women, right? And she was just like, and then she asked her who she was more attracted to, and she said that she was probably least attracted to women, but she didn't want her partner to take it the wrong way, because she's like, I'm with you, so that should be, what'd she say? It was, she shouldn't take it the wrong way, because even though she finds women least attractive, she's with, her partner, and I guess that meant that she was pretty special or something like that. But anyways, yeah, that was, pretty much the gist of it. I just wish that we had more, because the way that the series ended was they didn't get to do the stage play, and it was you and Toko were on a date at the aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
And that was about it. There was nothing else. I just wanted to see the stage play. I wanted more. I wanted to see an ending to their relationship that we didn't just, or not an ending, but what's the word I'm looking for? Help me out, Mike.
Okay, the ending that you want is that she wanted to say, "Hey, I love you" on the
Either a confession or a rejection is what I was actually looking for.
Well, in my opinion, like you say, it had to go slow, so they had to do more.
That has nothing to do with it.
So that's why they didn't want to do it, so they can make a second season.
And this came out in 2018, and it doesn't look like we're getting a second season.
Yeah, but you know how long it took us to get, you know how long it takes to get, other animes to make a season?
Because as of right now, there is nothing, to,
Because, we're still waiting for another season for Black Clover.
well, I mean, that's been announced, though, as far as I know.
And we were supposed to get a second season, My Dress Up, Darling, and still nothing yet.
Well, I mean, they're probably working on it.
And that's why I'm saying about
like,
that.
I mean, everything is, for those, though, those have been announced. There's been nothing for, Bloom Into You that's been announced. So they're probably not going to do a second season. If they do, I would be completely surprised if they do, but...
Well, either way, that just depends on the majority.
They did have a novel come out about Sayaka. It was called... it's a light novel. It's called Bloom Into You regarding Saiki Sayaka. But it doesn't look like that there's anything that's going to be coming out, like a second season or anything. So I'll just have to go read the manga
You might have to
get the full story. And then I'll be able to pick up on, what they didn't add in the manga and stuff like that. But, yeah, so that is Bloom Into You. Pretty much nothing else to say. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yep.
I mean, I will admit there were a few scenes that were slow, but not the whole thing was slow.
Either way, I like the storyline, so 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, I give it like a 7 out of 10.
Well, that's where we're different.
Yeah. Man, Mike.
What?
You sound kind of pissy right now.
Fuck.
Yeah. Anyways.
I'm pissy because we have to go back to work tomorrow.
Oh, that is true. We do have to go back to work tomorrow. Okay, so anyways, that is it for today's episode. Next week's hint is going to be rain.
Just thinking about that, eh? Rain.
Rain.
If you're in Ohio, we get that a lot.
We do get that a lot. We actually just got like our 60-second tornado of the season here recently.
Wow, a world record. A few more, we can be like the movie Twister.
I mean, we've already broken our record for this season.
Yeah, I can believe that. And also, we're getting a second Twister movie.
Yeah, which we'll probably talk about those later at a later date. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, like, subscribe, comment. Remember, we're trying to get up to 100 subscribers so we can show our faces and cosplay for all ya.
Yeah. Just like she said, get back to us. Put in the comments if you liked it or not. Bye.
Yeah. Have a good day, guys. Bye.
Bye.